Here's the full recipe. Here are the ingredients. You're going to need butter, evaporated milk. You are going to need some shredded cheddar, some egg noodles, and salt and pepper. And not the whiskey, no. That's for the cook. I've got my pan of water on the stove, getting ready for my noodles. My water is ready to take my noodles, so I'm going to add in my noodles now. And the water is salted. You always want to salt your water for noodles or pasta to add a little bit of flavor. Make sure when you put the noodles in that you stir them very well and that everything is covered with the water. And cook per package direction, which is usually 8 to 10 minutes. The noodles are now done, so I have drained them, and now I'm going to start adding in the other ingredients. First would probably be butter, and it's going to be 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter per the recipe, and you are going to stir the butter in until it is melted and the noodles are coated with the butter. Now your noodles will be a little soft at this point, so be a little gentle when you're stirring so not to break the noodles into small little pieces. But once the butter starts melting, you can see that the noodles are actually stirring a little bit more easier. This is one of my family favorite recipes that I do. It's so easy. So the butter is melted. So now we can start adding in the other ingredients. So the next will be cheese and the milk. And I kind of do these two together because once you add in cheese, you're going to need a little bit of milk to make sure that the consistency is correct for melting purposes and creamy purposes. So as you see, I'm adding a little bit of cheese and then I'm going to add in some milk as I stir to make sure that everything gets melted correctly. And I do this process a couple of times to make sure that I have enough cheese and milk into my noodles. This is very similar to if you ever done box mac and cheese. Very similar. It's just this is homemade. You don't have to worry about the chemicals from the box. Everything is fresh. So I'm going to add in some more cheese because you can see that there's not enough cheese in it. And you do the amount of cheese to your liking. This is just the amount I use, but you could add in more or less depending on your family's preference. And when stirring, you can see that it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to add in just a little bit more milk to make sure it still stays creamy, because we do want creamy mac and cheese. I use almost a full can, maybe less than a fourth is left in the can, so, but this comes out great each and every time. And you can use regular milk, 2% milk, whatever milk you have on hand or you like to use. You use your preference. I use canned milk due to allergies in my household. I'm adding the salt and pepper, and you do that to taste. Probably about a half a teaspoon of pepper, maybe a teaspoon of salt, depending on how much noodles you are actually cooking. And just give this a good stir. And we should be ready for the next step now, which would be to add this to our baking dish. Okay, I have a baking dish. You can use a regular baking dish, but sometimes I like to be easy with cleanup, so I'm using a Dollar Tree baking dish. I'm spraying it down so that way it doesn't stick to the bottom. You can use butter if you want as well, but I'm using a can spray because it's so handy. I'm just going to put the mac and cheese in at first. As you can see, I'm spooning it in, which is going to take me forever to do. So eventually I do give up on that process and I move to dumping it all in. It's just the pan is a little heavy for me, for my wrist, so that's why I was trying to do it this way, but it just was not working. There I go, dumping it in. You can see my camera on the counter. You want to make sure you spread all the mac and cheese evenly in your pan so that it cooks evenly. And this is so easy, and it, like I said, this is a very, very good recipe. It takes maybe 15 minutes to put together and 20 minutes to cook, and you're done. This is a great after work meal, side dish, or you could even use this as a regular meal and just maybe add in some hot dogs or some ham to it, and you have a meal. Serve this with some salad. It's perfect. So I'm gonna top this now with some the remaining cheese that I had in my bag, so that way I can get a little golden crust on top. More cheese is always good, especially for mac and cheese. You can never have too much cheese in mac and cheese. But you can use whatever cheese again that you like. You don't have to use cheddar. You can use whatever cheese is your favorite. You could experiment with multiple cheeses. You know, it's up to you. And now this is ready for the oven, and I put that in the oven, and this now is done. Bam, it's fast, I know. Just follow the recipe that's at the beginning of this video. And here's the finished product. It's creamy, delicious, and oh so yummy. Your family will love this. Please give it a try. I hope you liked the video, and thanks for stopping by.